Hi, this week we're going to talk about coordination. And we're going to work on the same concept that we used and we practiced on the pads, but we're going to play grooves on top of it so that we give more messages to our brain and we start to apply all the shifting, the motions and the technique that we've been practicing. Basically, this will allow us to not think of the shifting motion, not think of, oh, okay, I'm going to that part, so I have to shift from leg motion to ankle motion, but it's going to be an unconscious thing. It's the step between the practicing, the being concentrated on only one part, to applying it while we play. So it's just, it has to be something like we're off using leg motion and we switch the control on, and we shift to the leg motion, to the ankle motion straight away without thinking about it. Okay, so this is what why we do this step. Many times it happens that you can practice and you can go really fast on the pads, but then when you play songs you have hard times because maybe going from one part of the song to the next one, it's kind of tricky and we have balance problem and we can't really think about one particular part of our body because we have the click, we have the guitars, we have the live show and a lot of things going on. So in this part we're going to educate our brain and our body to be able to just shift the control without thinking about it. So it's basically going to be shifting all the work that we did with the brain memory and brain control, so that we really only concentrate on one part, which can be either ankle, wrist, arm, fingers, whatever it is, to muscular memories, so to unconscious, to the unconscious part of our brain. So it's a very important step to do, because it really allows us to fully apply what we practice on the pad. So in this lesson in particular, we're going to work on shifting from 8 notes to 30-second notes with our feet, going from leg motion to ankle motion, and we're going to play a basic groove on top of it, which will allow us to work on having a slow pattern with our hands and shifting 8 notes to 16 notes, so having a very fast pattern with our feet but a slow pattern with our hands. So this is the first step. It's going to be quite easy, but there are certain things that we really have to pay attention to really work on the exercise in the right way. So today we're going to work with the leg motion and heel down. It's going to be our first step. So that we apply the heel down, I never speed it up to the point that I would use it in my music, but that was my choice. So everybody can just, I will stop at a certain speed, but everybody else can just speed it up until they feel like they like it, if they like this technique and they feel like they want to make it their own technique for speed. With this technique, maybe if you want to increase the speed, since we have a very small motion angle, you want to lose the spring so that you don't have to deal with too much rebound, with too much coming back of the beater. That's my suggestion. And so we will start with the right foot, paying attention to distances between the notes and the shifting. The first stroke of the 16 notes is going to be always leg motion, and the last one will be the like a coming back of the heel toe, so it's like a kind of a toe stroke in this way. Then we're gonna add the right hand on the ride at first, and we're gonna keep trying to keep the bass drum sounding exactly the same way it is. So even if we add something, nothing has to change on how we're playing and how we're working on our right foot. So let's try. So over here we're already coordinating two body motions, which is the rebound of the stick, which we want to keep it always the same way, and our leg motion and ankle motion. So actually three motions, plus the shifting, going from slow to fast and from fast to slow. So it is a bit tricky. It's not that simple if you look at it, because there are many things that our brain has to control and think about, and it only has fractions of seconds. So if you're having hard times of doing this here, think about when you're playing and you're shifting, like you're going from a fill to a groove, or a groove to another, or a cymbal to another. So how many things, how many details can get in the way, can distract us, can make us having us hard times playing stuff. So this exercise will help us on that. So then the third phase is to add the snare drum, and at this point I'm only gonna show you the first of the four grooves that we're gonna practice this week, and then of course you're gonna have to do this only if you are having hard times on playing it, or you want to make sure you're doing it in the right way with every groove that that we will play. So let's start with the first groove, and then I'm not gonna do this again for all the other four grooves. That's what I'm saying. But if you're having hard times on playing any one of these grooves, just break it down like this, and you'll get it. So this is the first groove. Okay, so another suggestion that I can give you is to kind of try to make references between your limbs. So for example, what I think while I do this is, of course, between my hands, I think of going down at the same time. So I make this unison motion that allows me to always have the right connection between my hands. If I have to think right hand, right foot, of course the same thing happens between my leg and my arm in the arm motion, and then when I have to go back slow with my legs, so doing a leg from a ankle motion to a leg motion, I think of this. So doing the opposite. When my hand goes down, my leg raised, like I lift my leg. So this kind of motion, which I don't know, it just makes things easier for me. And of course, with from the connection between my right foot and left hand is, when I play leg motion, is exactly how I feel like with the right hand. So this thing, and then kind of the same thing when I go back up or go down. So when I shift from slow to fast, it's always the same unison motion, and then I just continue with the heel down. When I have to go back up, I do exactly the same thing of let's say, raising the heel while I'm putting my hand down. So having these references helps me to having the control of the body. And then I do the same thing on the left foot, and then the same thing when we play left hand lead, which we will do in this exercise. So now I'm gonna play an entire workout only on one speed. So the best thing would be, of course, to start from a slow BPM and then increase the speed and try to cover as many BPM ranges as possible. But I'm gonna just do one as a demonstration of the exercise. And I'm gonna pay attention to the distances between the notes, the dynamics and sound. So it has to be, we have to pay attention that every single part that we're playing is playing correctly, and we're not having any shuffle kind of feeling or any dynamic, nothing like, or things like that. It all has to be very even. It's like if three different people are playing three different instruments, but instead it's of course just us doing it. So we have to try to recreate that and create a unique sound for who's standing on the other side, which is not hearing three different things, which is just hearing one thing, which is the drums. So our job is to make it sound like one even sound, and so we have to control everything in this way. I'm gonna play right-handed and left-handed, but you'll see how the exercise is and have a clear idea. Let's do it. So this is it for the week. With this exercise we're gonna benefit the either playing like fast tempos with our feet and slow grooves with our hand, which will balance the two parts of our body, which is not that simple, and helps us to have references when we play very fast strokes on a bass drum with slow hands, and it's gonna help. And of course the shifting between leg and ankle while we play grooves, so while we add information to our brain. Again, this is a very important step that goes between the pads workouts to what we actually then play. It's like a step in between from when we're on the stage playing songs and when we're at home on the pads. Okay, so that's the meaning of this exercise. This is just the first step, so it's going to be easy, and even though we already have to think about many things, if you really pay attention to all the details, this exercise is not going to be that easy. And if it's too easy for you, you're probably doing something wrong, or you're not paying enough attention, because it's tricky, it is difficult. So we'll see you next week with the next lesson.